It's me. I'm here. I'm late, but I'm here. And my game capture isn't working. There we go. Oh, the dunk. Turn off data. Traffic was an absolute bloody nightmare. And I'm waiting very patiently for an invitation. Because I know people are doing their quality lap. So it's sprint weekend in Zandvoort. As soon as I... there we go. There's an invite. So I have no idea what the grid's going to look like. That invite didn't work. Cool. Very cool. Actually, can I join straight... I think I can join straight through Steam? Question mark? Oh, there we go. Right. I need a spectator. Right, I think I'm going to join right for the end of sprint quali here. So my guess is as good as yours as to what our grid's going to look like whenever I can load in. There we are. And that's the end. Right, okay. There's your grid. Fatboy Sim, Luke, Pace, Rob in the front two rows. Arwen, Skarma, Craig, Chiv, Michelando, Dale up in 10th there. Devaro with an impressive 11th as well. Kevin, P12. Bosch, P13. Gio in P14. I missed the rest of that there. So, Fatboy Sim looking for his second... race win in a row after winning in Hungary. Who was the rest of that? So that was Gio in P14. K-Pax in P15. Georgie in P16 on his debut. Baz in P17. Mr. CD in P18. And then DSQ from Tesco. Don't know what happened there. But Fatboy Sim, as you can see, 2/10 on pole for the sprint. Luke there in P2. Very close with his former teammate Pace in P3. Of course, Pace won the first sprint in Portugal. Looks to have qualified well here. Also, home Grand Prix for the VCARB driver. And I am just getting into the swing of things. Right. Don't know if there's been any drama. Don't know how Tesco got disqualified. Right. Okay, I've got my beer. Right. I've got my beer, chat. We're going to see the sprint. I'm going straight in here. No warm-up at all. Going straight into the sprint race. Fatboy Sim on pole, won in Hungary, looking to win again. Pace might be fighting for his second sprint win of the season. Luke is obviously a risk as well. I don't know who we're waiting for here, but looks a bit sunny, maybe a few clouds floating around, so doesn't look like there's going to be any risk of rain, he says. Lord knows what the qualifying and the sprint are going to be like. The feature race. Bloody sprints. We've only had one 2 weekends ago. We're doing another one. I think we've got 6 sprints across the weekend. The weekend of the season. Yeah, I'm all out of practice. Lads, I've got my gym bag here next to me, sitting on, just next to my desk. I've honestly sprinted in, right, as soon as I've come in and done my PC and setup. Kev has left the session. I don't think I've got Kev. I don't think I could chuck him an invite. I can't even move. There we go. I do not, sadly. No. Okay, that's fine. Looks like we're just waiting. I don't know if we've got some sort of... Oh, there we go. Right, okay. So, just getting ready for the formation lap here as Fatboy Sim sets us off. So, to recount, Fatboy Sim on pole position for the sprint. 2/10 ahead of Luke in P2. Their Pace, the former sprint winner in P3. Rob Wills, always a risk in P4. Arwen in P5, looked pretty decent in Hungary. Came in P3. Skarma in P6, had a good start of the season as well with Craig in P7. Chiv in P8. Michelando in P9. Dale in P10. Devaro P11 with Kev in P12, who hopefully we can get back into the session. Bosch in P13, both Haas's next to each other, with Gio leading K-Pax, our reserve driver, in what I believe is his last race as our reserve for a little while. Georgie, on his debut in the Alpine. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I hope I am anyway. Baz in P17, Mr. CD in P18, the other Alpine driver, and then Tesco down in P19 as well. I think we have Chubby Slug who will be joining us as well at some point. I know he said he asked for an invite when he can. I think he might have just missed the start, but it's fine. This is the sprint. We've then got the sprint race next, which will be, oh god, I think it's probably about 12 laps, I think. Well, no, if Portugal was 13 laps, it might be a little bit more than that. Zandvoort's quite a short circuit. And then we'll have our 18-minute qualifying session and then the race. So, having a look here at the tyres, a lot of softs, a lot of mediums across the board. They're interesting to see if Luke can get a jump on Fatboy Sim there on the soft tyres, if the soft tyres will last to the end. So you can see Fatboy Sim on the medium, and then it swaps from medium to soft, going all the way down to P8 with Chiv on the softs. 3 medium runners in a row there, from 9th to 11th. Kev on the softs, and then Bosch down to Georgie on the mediums, and then Baz and Tesco on the softs, either side of Mr. CD on the mediums. See the drivers lining up in their pit box ready. And we might get a rear shot of the start here. We'll have to see. Right, the green flag waves. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are go for the Netherlands sprint. I think Fatboy Sim got a pretty good start there, but Luke gets an even better start. And he goes alongside the Ferrari driver. Is he going to take the lead into T1? He does. Luke gets the better start on the better tyre and takes the lead from Fatboy Sim, who will tuck in behind him on the mediums. That's a VCAB going through in P3 there of Pace, Rob, and P4. Arwen looks at the inside, I think, of Rob there. And I don't appear to be able to select any other driver. There we go. So let's have a look. Arwen sticks behind Craig, and Chiv jumps Skarma. I think Skarma's dropped back a few positions there. Michelando P9, Dale in P10, as you were. Devaro P11, Bosch in P13. Both Haas's jump up pretty well as the VCAB goes alongside the McLaren there. As you can see, Tesco goes up from P19 to P15 with Georgie. Kev loses quite a few positions there, and Mr. CD down there. That's 5 positions dropped for Kev, so he's had a moment. Let me just get everything set up here. There very well might have been some sort of incident. I'm trying to look at gaps there. Devaro looks like he's made a pass there on Bosch, and Kev looks like he's made a pass on Georgie, but I'm going to go all the way back up here with Fatboy Sim. As you can see, Luke gets a healthy lead up, and Fatboy Sim's put a second on Pace there. Rob looks like he might be having a go as he goes alongside Pace there on the soft tyre down the inside, and Rob takes P3 from the VCAB there. The medium tyre's starting to fall away a little bit. Arwen looking very racy there as he looks to go around the outside of Pace, decides to stay there. Look, Chiv will see these two. I thought Craig was having to go around the outside there, but he didn't. Everybody looking quite close together. I think Bosch looks like he might be making a move, and Devaro decides to go against it. Looks at the right-hand side. There's no room there. And it's all very much single file going through Sector 2 and Sector 3, isn't it? There is a small DRS zone in the middle of the track, but it's not really an overtaking opportunity. Bosch maybe has a look out there. Tesco looks like he's made a move there on Gio. As we have a look up and down the grid, anyone else making moves? Some people sticking together in the DRS zone. Not really an opportunity to overtake, as it's all very single file. Dirty Air gives up. Oh, Gio looks just very... I thought he was going to ascend it up the inside of the Mercedes there. But Luke looks to have pulled a second on Fatboy Sim. Fatboy Sim looks to have almost pulled a second on Rob, who's almost pulled a second on Pace. As we have a look at Arwen here, sits in the slipstream, the VCAB driver. The VCAB driver has DRS, and he's going to be able to defend. Having a look here, Chiv might have a go around the outside. I think he has made a move on Skarma there. And look, they're bashing into each other, Chiv. And Craig Skarma gets a brilliant view of this as Craig keeps his position. Chiv just trying to bully his way through. K-Pax and Devaro are switching places all the time as they go side by side through turn 3. Devaro keeps the position as the... yes, K-Pax comes out again in the Haas. Tesco looks to go up the inside of Devaro, who's fallen back a couple of places. And Gio looks like he's going side by side with the Williams driver and takes him in the middle sector. And Devaro has lost about 4 positions there in just as many corners. Unfortunate for the Williams driver. Oh, there's contact! Big contact there. That was Devaro and Georgie, I think, who had, yeah, Georgie, look, he's got wing damage. I'm pretty sure he's got wing damage anyway. Big crash there between the Williams driver and the Haas driver. Big drama there. You can see a big gap forming there from Chiv leading the pack from Skarma, who very well may have a look on the McLaren driver there as your front five, I think, decide to disappear. Arwen looks to have gone, I think he's made a move up the inside of Pace, and he has. Pace can't really fight anything there as he looks to recharge. Skarma tucks in behind Chiv there. I'm going to see who anyone else is making a move here. Dale, they're all very single fire, all very neat and orderly here as they wind their way up the hill here. Georgie might have damage. Oh, sends it up on the inside. A little bit of touch with Baz there. As they go side by side, Baz will get out a little bit ahead as Georgie had to collect the car. Big recharge from the Williams driver there. The soft tyres are thriving at the moment, but is it going to be enough to see them to the end? Fatboy Sim hasn't really fallen away, has he? Baz just looking left, right, darting where he can. Oh, it's a bit of contact. Baz with a half spin. Just got too close underneath the back of that Alpine there. Mr. CD also sitting behind. Not going to be enough room to make a move there. I'm going to have a look at who is going to make a move. I think Craig Brook might be making a move on Mika Lando in a minute, but Mika Lando is even, Skarma is even closer to Chiv. Now McLaren is recharging his battery. He doesn't have any DRS. We're going to see a great view here as Skarma goes side by side and passes Chiv with ease. Craig Brook decides not to send it. So having a look here, Fatboy Sim is a lot closer to the back of that McLaren now. Are the softs starting to fall away slightly? We will see. I'm going to have a go back here, see whose tyres are on who. So Rob on the soft tyres is 1.7 seconds ahead of Arwen. He is sticking in the DRS of Fatboy Sim very happily. Luke is leading on those softs, struggling. Skarma and Chiv on the softs are going to start losing, I think, to Craig, Michelando, Dale, and Bosch, who I think Bosch is at the back of that queue there. No, K-Pax behind them and Tesco behind K-Pax. There's a big line of drivers here, actually. As Tesco looks, is he going to go around the outside of K-Pax there? He is thriving on those soft tyres. Is he going to make a move here? The Mercedes driver, there's a yellow flag at the back there as we see Tesco got the inside of K-Pax. Very well done here. And Georgie, that was falling to the back, but I want to go all the way up to the front of the field here. Is Fatboy Sim going to make a move on Luke here? Luke has no DRS. He's using a little bit of his battery. Fatboy Sim's close, but not close enough. Rob will happily sit in the tow. Pace also sits in the tow. Drivers up and down the field, really struggling to make any roads. Oh, and the Haas drivers collide into each other. Gio runs into the back of his teammate there, K-Pax, as Georgie and Baz are fighting up the back of there. Georgie looks like he has made the pass on the Williams driver, who's probably struggling on those softs a little bit. Tesco has been absolutely flying in that Mercedes here. He has been pulling overtakes at a lot of different locations. We've seen that Red Bull of Dale, that is, they're struggling to recharge. Bosch is recharging as well. As we have a look up and down the curb. That's a big snap from Bosch. I think he got onto the curb there. I was looking at the mini-map. Tesco, is he going to have a switch back in the DRS zone here? He is still thriving on those softs, the Mercedes driver. He's gone from P19 to P12 so far, so fair play. He's going to struggle to make a lot of overtakes as he's in the sort of the track here. I think that's Mika Lando leading, who's fallen away from Craig Brook a little bit. I'm going to see if Fatboy Sim is going to make a move for the lead here. Luke just gets a bit of good drive, but Fatboy Sim is dumping his battery. He's got his DRS on. Luke goes defensive. Fatboy Sim goes around the outside of Team 1. There's not a lot of grip out there, and Luke holds the position for now. Dale makes the move on Mika Lando there. As we look back, Tesco sticks behind them. But they look like they're very close together. Tesco looks like he's going side by side with Mika Lando. Mika Lando has the inside, which is probably the better line, but Tesco has the grip on the softs. There's a slight bit of contact, and he's tucked right into the toe of Bosch. He goes on the right-hand side. Bosch goes defensive. Is he going to try and make a move here? Almost flat through here. Bosch doesn't touch the curb. Oh, big snap from Bosch. He takes too much of the curb. And the sea just parts for Tesco. Bosch picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure. And Tesco has put himself into the points from last on the grid. Brilliant drive from the Mercedes driver. And the lap just goes by so quickly as we go back here. Fatboy Sim is already going to come around the final corner. as quick as you can breathe. It's a 1 minute 10-second lap here. He's using more battery, he's using more DRS. Luke goes defensive again. There's a yellow flag. I think it's another driver has maybe lost it as we see Fatboy Sim go around the outside. He's going to pinch Luke to the apex a bit more, and he's going to come out ahead as Tesco overtakes Dale on the pit straight for P9. Arwen makes move on pace as well for P4. And we have a change for the lead with just 4 or 5 laps remaining. Fatboy Sim makes the move on Lucalis, who will sit back and recharge base. Takes a little bit of curb, he nearly loses it. There's really nowhere to overtake here. These two are so far apart from the front 3 and Chiv behind. So we will see who will battle there for P4. K-Pax looks like he's pretty close to making a move. Bosch there carrying the penalty, recharging his battery. Those curbs on the inside could be really, really slippery. As a yellow flag in sector 2, it's DeVaro, I think. Is DeVaro around? I think he is. I think he's had a moment. So is Lucas going to make a move, or is Rob going to make a move on Luke? Rob is that much closer. Luke takes a little bit of the curb and has a bit of a half spin that's going to put him on the back foot here. He does have DRS from the Ferrari ahead, but Rob has DRS on him. Luke is burning his battery here to try and defend his position as Fatboy Sim will recharge and try and maintain. Having a look up and down here. Anybody looking for any lunges? I don't think so. Tesco has managed to get up to the head of that train now. He's now leading it with Dale just a few tenths behind. He's going to need to pull out some crazy laps to catch up to Craig there, who's in his DRS train of his own. Having a look here. I think DeVaro has made a move on his teammate Baz there. Excuse me, Baz is disconnected. He's had an issue. Having a look up and down the grid. K-Pax really close to the back of his Hearts teammate there. They've come together once already. K-Pax recharging quite a bit of his battery. Maybe going to make a move. Yellow flag. As that is a... that's Craig. That's Craig who's got off. I think, yes, it is. Craig has had a moment. He's had a half spin or something of that, and Tesco will inherit P8. That's 11 positions. I missed what happened there. Craig must have had a moment, must have gone wide. I don't think he was that close to anyone. But speaking of close, Rob is very close to Lucalis here. Rob is side by side with Lucalis, and Rob is past him for P2 with just a few laps remaining. The soft tire run is still sticking on to the back of Fatboy Sim on the medium tires, who just knows he needs to control his pace out front. Let's have a look. Anyone else going to make a move? Dale is still sticking behind Tesco there, and they're all very close to each other. Craig Brook is very close to the Haas driver of K-Pax there, going around T3, I think that is. Is he going to go for some sort of move going over the crest? K-Pax sitting at the toe of Gio. Just sits back a bit. I think he might have a bit of wing. He is. He's missing an end plate. Craig Brook. Oh, you can see it perfect there. He's missing a big chunk of his end plate. So he's had a moment of some sort. Tesco's gone back. Oh, Tesco. After such a brilliant run up the field, he's fallen back to P14 and out of the points. Absolutely tragic there. That is Baz. He has just reconnected. I think he might be having some sort of technical issues. But we're going to go on board with Rob here, who's on the back of Fatboy Sim. Rob is going to go alongside Fatboy Sim, and Rob has gone from P3 to P1 in just a few laps. Fair play to the Aston Martin driver. Fatboy Sim knows that he's going to have to go hell for leather on the last lap here to try and gain that position back. As we look, K-Pax is still right under the nose of that Haas driver there. Georgie makes the move on Kev, going back there. I think that was on the pit straight there. Lucalis is just pushing Fatboy Sim along. We'll have to see who's managed to save their battery, because it will be one last gas down the pit straight. We've really seen a majority of overtakes been done on the pit straight. There aren't that many. There's been a few overtakes in the midfield. Oh, and the Haas driver goes off. Gio's gone really wide there. K-Pax will go on the inside, says thank you very much, and moves up to P11 and will inherit at least P10 from Bosch, who of course is carrying his penalty. But I want to go on board with the onboard of Fatboy Sim as we go on to the final run down the straight as we start the last lap. Is he going to have enough battery to make a move on the Aston Martin driver? Is Lucalis in the McLaren going to be able to to do anything. There's not a lot Rob can do to defend. He moves to the right-hand side, but Fatboy Sim makes the pass and will pass going into T1 and is in a very good position for finishing the race in his where he is. As we have a look, Skarma's sitting on the back of Chiv there. Dale looks like he's made the move on Mika Lando going into T1 there. Bosch there is just tucking up behind them. K-Pax sits behind his teammate. Gio manages to make the move past on K-Pax. I think they're on the straight. Georgie is then overtaken by Kev there. As we have a look. Yeah, Kev is right on the inside. Georgie is right on the outside. There's a little bit of a nibble of contact. But I think Kev has made that move for P15 on the Alpine driver, who obviously had a moment. Looking at it, I can't imagine there's going to be many more crazy moves here. Georgie might send something up the inside here as Kev is massively recharging his battery. Kev goes very defensive. And Georgie goes around the outside of him, but we're going to go on board here with Fatboy Sim, who rounds the final corner. He's played this to perfection on his medium tyres. Fatboy Sim wins the sprint. Rob was a very close P2 with the DRS, it must be said. Lucalis will come home in P3, Arwen in P4, Pace in P5, Chiv in P6, Skarma in P7, Michelando, which is P8 with Dale, Gio, K-Pax in 10th and 11. Gio will get the last point scoring there. Craig in P12, Tesco in P13, Bosch in P14, Georgie in P15, Kev in P16, Devaro in P17, Mr. CD in P18, and Baz in P19. My goodness me. That was a lot going on there, wasn't it? There's your results. Fatboy Sim wins. It was a 10th between Rob and Fatboy Sim there. I've been tagged. I hear them, but I don't have... let me just reply to this admin chat here real quick. I can finally take a sip of my beer. I want to give fair credit to Tesco there, who, I mean, drove an absolutely superb race, but because of the spin, I don't think in good faith I could give him driver of the day. I think I'm going to give it to... I'll have a look. I'll have a look back. I want to see. There was so much going on there. I need to, like, properly go back. You binned it. Oh, mate. Welcome in. If that is... I'm not sure who that is out of the in-game name, but whoever you are, there was a couple of bins, I must say. But in fair play to Tesco. From P19 to P9. I think it was P8 at one point. Very, very well done. But we go into qualifying now, and I tell you what, it looks just that ever bit more... You are, Tesco. You spun. Oh, no. Oh, the soft tyres were thriving. That's how it goes, man. How it goes. Excuse me as I clear my throat. Right. It looks a bit misty out there, doesn't it? It looks a bit, I don't know, grey. Is the right word. Everybody's going out on the softs as it stands. As I try and get everything to cooperate. Let's see, who is that went out? It's Craig who's got to go out for his first lap. I'm wondering if we have a threat of rain. I hope so. I love a bit of rain. We've had rain in Hungary and we've had rain in Portugal. So it'd be only fitting, wouldn't it? We watch them go around, get some heat into their tyres. Let's have a look up down the field. We've got Kev, who's... Oh, excuse me again. I've had one sip of beer. It's gone right to my throat there. Skarma, Kev, Baz, Devaro, Georgie, and Craig are all out on their outlaps. I think that's another driver coming out of the pits there. Yeah, that's the other Mercedes driver of Tesco who's going out. But we are going to go on board with Craig Brook. With no heads-up display at all as we see his first banker lap. The DRS is on, his ERS is on, and Craig starts the lap going through the bank corner. DRS open, stick to the left-hand side. You can brake quite late here for T1 here. It's probably about 100, maybe 75 meters. Hard on the brakes. You want to touch that curb very slightly on the inside. Keep it fairly to the right. Don't touch the curb here. This is almost flat, this corner here. You can take a lot of curb there, and then this is quite a tricky corner. You want to turn in really early and wash out wide. Use a little bit of the exit curb, but not all of it because it'll slow it down. As you get to this twisty half straight here, you're completely flat. This corner is a flat and a downshift, usually, as goes the quick right-hander, and then we get into this technical section. I love these. They're downshift, they're 5th gear, 6th gear corners, only very slight nabs of the brakes. The curbs can kill you here. You don't want to wash out too far left there because you need to get all the way to the right to set yourself up for the second DRS straight, which is not really an overtaking opportunity, but it's a little bit of extra pace for those on the high downforce. You want to get all the way over to the left-hand side there, nearly touching the grass for this clunky chicane. Use a lot of curb on the right-hand side. Use the curb on the other side to rotate you. Don't use the exit curb. And it's one last hard braking here, down to 4th gear. The inside curb can spin you there. Use a bit of exit, DRS on really early. Use the camber to get the car turned in. Don't scrub off too much speed all the way to the left-hand side. And Craig sets the first lap time of a 1:12.4. Well played from Craig there. And you know what? The fact that they've got the rain lights on there tells me we might be in for a bit of rain. Kev says a 1:10.6. Georgie with a 1:10.5 as well. I think they've either got their rain... No, he doesn't have his rain lights on. I think Craig was on a warm-up. Interesting. Okay, well. Yeah, Craig is on his lap now. Mr. Seedy there. As we see Skarma. Devarro said a 1:10.6, so Craig is actually doing his proper lap there. Devarro crosses the... So Skarma crosses the road with 1:10.5.3. That's 5/100ths up on Georgie. Baz crosses the line with a 1:11.2. I'm going to go back on board here with Craig, if I can find him. Where is he? There he is. As he looks to round the final corner now, is he going to set a more representative lap time? As he uses whatever battery he has left, crosses the line. It's a 1:10.2 from Craig Brook there. Gio is starting his lap, so we'll go on board with Gio as well. We've got a full grid here. We've got 20 drivers. No, Gio is doing a warm-up lap as well by the looks of it. So we'll have a look. Mr. Seedy, I think, is on his lap. There's a yellow flag. I think that's someone just slowing down. I'm going to go on board and see, is Mr. Seedy on a flying lap now? I think he is. So we'll go on board with the Alpine driver. Uses whatever battery he's got here for the DRS straight. Just driver slowing down, trying to get out of everyone's way. Again, brake 75 here. You want to use a fair bit of curb there. He leaves it a little bit. It's really understeery through here. That outside curb can upset the car. Down to 5th gear. Didn't take a lot of brake. Let's see what Mr. Seedy can do. DRS open. Use whatever battery you have left. And the Alpine driver sets a 1:11.2. Just 3/100ths off of Baz there in the Williams. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. As we have a look here, who do I want to go on board with? I think Gio is just about to start his lap, so we'll watch Gio go here. DRS open, battery on, brake hard here. Is he going to touch some of the curb? He leaves the curb, a bit of room. Very quick to that corner. You've got to absolutely hurl the car in and just trust it sticks. He uses a very good line there. He takes a little bit of bump going on the exit curb there. That's going to have a hamper him going all the way down the straight. Goes to the quick right-hander. Does very well. Love seeing the car dance through this sector here. The car almost sits on a pinpoint as you change directions, and the momentum change is so clean on these modern F1 cars as well. And sometimes you just think and it goes in the direction you want it to, especially with how pointy some of these drivers will have their setups. I know some drivers love a high downforce setup here. One of the worst corners on the circuit, a half lockup from the Haas driver there as he manages to navigate the chicane. He's just got a few more corners left, 2 more corners left even. Tesco puts a 1:10.5 in there in the Williams there. Bosch matches it with a 1:10.5. A lot of drivers really close together here. Gio, the Haas driver, will cross the line now, and he sets A 1:11.2. Now, let's have a look. Mr. Seedy has been disqualified from the session for parking at a dangerous location. Very unfortunate from our Alpine driver there. Don't know what happened there. Let's have a look. Fatboy Sim puts us into the 109s there. As Kev sets a 1:10.2. Very impressive. Dale with a 1:10.3 as well. That's Kev going into the pits now. I'm trying to see who else is on the Chiv. I think it's just about to start his lap. He is. We'll watch Chiv go around now. There is a V-Carb driver behind him as well. I think it might be Skarma on an outlap. It is. So Skarma is starting a lap as well as we watch Chiv go around here. I tell you what, it's bloody hard watching all 20 drivers go around. There's a perpetual rolling yellow flag here. I think that might be the AI bringing Mr. CD back into the pits. Chiv navigates that pretty well. It's so crucial to get a good exit out of turn 3 there, because you feel like going not only going all the way up this straight here, but this corner here. It's a double downshift from Chiv and the McLaren. Looks like he's at a purple sector 1 if my map is to be believed. The track probably looks like it's a bit cold, you know. The track is probably a bit, you know, not necessarily greasy, but it's just not in the right operating temperature for the tyres. So the drivers need to be very careful how they navigate the wear on their tyres. I think that's a driver jumping up there. I think that might have been Dale, maybe. I know it was Rob setting a 1:10.1, I think. DeVaro with a 1:10.5. As we see Chiv go around the last 2 corners here. It's really easy to invalidate there, and you forget how early the DRS is as well. Arwin is currently on his outlap, as is K-Pax. Chiv crosses the line with the 1:10.5. Lots of drivers in the 1:10.5s. We're going to see Skarma, as it looks like he's going to start his lap here. A lot of drivers look like they're doing 2 setup laps as DeVaro goes into the pits. That's the other Haas driver of Baz going into the pits as well. So Arwin's going to start his lap as well. Is he going to use his battery here? I am not sure he is. I'm going to go back with Skarma, unless they're just saving their battery for that back straight because of how much you need it. K-Pax has got out on his outlap as well. Pace, Lucas, and Chubby Slug are the only drivers not to have left the pits yet. Just catching up a second. Yep, just watching some of the messages there. I tell you what, the sky looks like it's getting a bit darker, doesn't it? Is it just me? Oh, I hope there's rain. I do hope there's rain as we watch Skarma finish up his final couple of corners. I think he's going to get a very tasty toe from the McLaren there of Chiv, who I think that's Chiv going into the pits. It is. As Luke is on his outlap. Skarma improves to a 109.7. Another driver into the 109s. The time's starting to get there. We'll see Arwin cross the line now. He was on his flying lap. Let's see how he does in the Red Bull. Kev is going to start a flying lap as well. Arwin puts with a 1:10.0. Very tasty indeed. I want to see Lucalis go around as well. Let's watch Lucalis as he goes and starts his lap. I think that's Ferrari going to be starting that as either Chubby Slug or Fatboy Sim, but we're going to focus on Luke here as he goes through T1. Gets the car turned in very nicely. Doesn't really touch the curb on the outside there. Very quick through T3 or T4. Takes a very good line there. Doesn't use too much of the top side there. Keeps it tucked in on the inside. Of course, different setups in this track means you can take that corner in so many different ways. Depends how much downforce you've put on the car. So that other Ferrari is absolutely flying around as well. Very planted from Luke here. Uses a lot of curb. I notice he's on the medium tires as well. So maybe just setting a banker lap for now. If there's just only one session. That's a Ferrari that looks like he's gone off there. Chubby's had a moment off, yes. Well, we didn't get to see it on board, but Chubby had an off moment. I'm going to go back on board with Lucalis, who got a lovely toe from the Red Bull driver there. Who gets out of the way nicely. Curious to see what Lucalis' plan is here. If he's doing a banker on the mediums, and then he's going to run at the very end on the softs. We'll have to see. To my understanding, there's only one. It should be just a short quali. Lucalis goes P9 on the medium tyres. It's a 1:10.4 for Lucalis. I'm going to go back with, who did I see was on a lap? It was Kev in the Mercedes there. No, he's just backed off. He's still sitting at a 1:10.2. He might have just backed off slightly. Let's have a look who else is on a lap. I think Mika Lando is on a lap. No, Mika Lando is just finished his lap. No, he said a 109. Excuse me. So Mika Lando's into the 109s as well. I thought that was Rob there for a minute. You know, Rob's still in the 110s. Kev is at Lucalis is on his out lap. I think Gio is going to cross the line in just a minute to either start his lap time. Let's have a look. Pace is still in the pits. Pace waiting to the very end. So Gio's on a lap now as well, and that is Tesco as well, also on a flying lap. Tesco obviously had a really good sprint. Had a spin at the very end, very tragically. Yellow flag, and second was Kev getting out of the way. I'm just going to stay on board with Tesco here as we see him and Gio push there. It's going to be interesting to see how the dirty air affects the Mercedes driver here. As we have like Chubby Slug is, I think he's either, if he's not pitting, he's going to go around and start again, because of course he had an off moment, which explains his 117 pace of the competing drivers still yet to set a time. I think Dale is on a flying lap now as well. Devaro and Bosch, I think, are out on laps, but we're going to watch. Baz is as well. Fatboy Sim, the the Ferrari driver, excuse me, has come out. He's one to watch for pole position, given his sprint qualifying as well. There's a yellow flag. Yeah, it's just one of the drivers getting out of the way. I think that was Fatboy Sim getting out of the way. Chubby Slug looks like he's on another flying lap, so we might go on board with him in a minute, but I want to see how these two do. Gio will cross the line first. And Gio, I don't think improved his time, but Tesco does. It's a 1:10.1 for him. And look at this field spread. There's 6/10 between P4 and P17. That's absolutely outrageous. Lucalis is in the pits. I expect him to go out again. Fatboy Sim is setting up. This might be his only flying lap, unless I'm wondering if there's drivers doing 2 warm-up laps. A couple of times I've seen them come out of the pits and they do another lap. They either invalidate, they might be invalidated, or they do another lap before setting their time. So let's have a look here. So Baz improves into the 110s as well. So from P4 to P18, well really P3 to P18 there's a second separating them. We're going to watch Fatboy Sim go on board here as he dumps some of his battery. He's definitely on a flying lap. Is this going to be his only attempt at trying to go for provisional pole? He keeps it very tidy through T1 there. Goes through T2, and T3 is just a downshift. Hard braking for T4. Takes the apex early. He doesn't use a lot of the outside there. He keeps it in the middle of the track. And you're just waiting. It's completely flat through here, and you need to pick your moment to scrub some speed for this bit. He's got a bit of traffic. He downshifts, but keeps it flat. There's a Williams just in the way, but he manages to navigate it fine. He's almost flat through the corner there. Doesn't even downshift. Down to the second gear there. I don't know if he meant to do that. Down to second gear. Early to fourth for the traction. Grab the DRS early, move all the way to the left-hand side, and pick your braking point for the chicane. You can use a lot of curb on the inside, but it's really easy to invalidate. Does very well. The curb can help you rotate there, but he's got some very good car control there. And it's a bloody good lap for Fatboy Sim. One last corner to navigate. Don't touch the curb there. Don't invalidate on the outside. DRS early. Use the camber to get the car turned in. Don't lose too much speed. He's going to get a half toe from the kick driver in front, and Fatboy Sim beats Skarma to provisional pole. It's a 109.75. That's 1/100th ahead of the V-Carb driver. I don't think he's got time to go again. He doesn't have fuel to go again. So that's his final run. Fatboy Sim on provisional pole. He won't be able to go again. K-Pax is just starting his lap there in the Haas driver as the reserve. So we'll see what he does. I'm just having a look up and down the field. Dale, I think, is going to start his lap in a minute. Tesco was also out on an out lap. Devaro was out. Bosch is out. K-Pax is on his lap. Now Baz is out as well. Chubby's come out of the pits on the Ferrari on the out lap as well. We're seeing cars stream out of the pits here. Everybody wants to be the last one to cross the line. Craig Brooker's out. Dale has just started his lap, so we might go on board with him in a minute. He's encountering a bit of traffic at T1 from the McLaren driver. That's Chiv who's come out. Lucas also on his out lap as well. He'll be on the soft tyres. There's an Aston Martin coming out there as well, and it's going to get a very, very busy grid indeed. So we're going to stay on board with K-Pax as he navigates the final sector. I'm just going to have a look at some of the timing screens here. Fatboy Sim comes into the pits, so he's in. He's not going to have a chance to go again. A kick driver crosses the line there. I think that might be Bosch either starting his lap or maybe didn't improve. We're going to watch the Haas driver. as he goes around. I'm curious to see if Chubby Slug improves on his position as he starts as well. K-Pax crosses the line to P7, a 1:10.1, and you can see how close it is. Tesco also in his flying lap as well. We're going to go right back on board with the Mercedes driver and see what he can do. So K-Pax is on his in-lap. Kev is in the pits, so he's not going to go out again. His best time was a 1:10.0. It would be a career best qualifying for him there. Tesco encountering a bit of traffic with the VCARB driver there, who does look to get out of the way. That's Pace on his outlap, so I think he is going to try to be the last one to cross the line. Chiv starts his lap, as does Lucullus. Lucullus is one to watch. I'm going to leave Dale just a second to go on board with, not Dale, sorry, that is Arwen starting his lap. Dale is on his lap, I think, 1:10.3. I'm going to go back with Tesco. As you can see, streams of cars starting to cross the line now, all on their flying laps. Rob, Gio, and Pace are the last ones on their outlaps. We'll see if they have enough time to do it. I'm going to go on board with the Mercedes driver. Can he get a better qualifying position than he did in the sprint? We will see. He has his DRS. He uses whatever battery he has left. And it's P3 for the Mercedes. Another one into the 109s. I want to watch the VCARB. Their Pace does get to the line in time. I'm going to go find Skarma as he looks to cross the line now, I think. He does indeed. Skarma goes on provisional pole by 3/100ths over Fatboy Sim. I just caught it at the end there. Chiv looks like he's going to cross the line. I want to see what Lucullus can do as well. Does he have enough? Chiv goes up to P10 with a 1:10.1. Craig with a 1:10.0. He's not going to improve. Devarro, Bosch, Baz all take the flag as well. Lucullus goes to P3. He's on the second row with Tesco there with a 1:09.7. Let's see, Dale goes into the pits. Georgie with P13. And Arwen takes provisional pole. Can Rob take it away from Arwen here? I don't think he... No, unless... no, Rob is the last one to cross the line. So Arwen went at the death there with a 1:09.71. Just a few 100s separating the top four drivers. Tesco is currently on his in-lap. Rob is the last one to set a competitive time. It's P7. It's a 1:10.0 for Rob. Out-qualified by his teammate for the first time this season. Chubby Slug goes into the pits as Pace takes the flag and jumps to P9 with a 1:10.04. 1/1000ths ahead of Kev in the Mercedes. I think that's a career best qualifying for Kev. I think it's a career best qualifying for Tesco as well. So fair play to them. Georgie on his debut in P14 as well. But that is Arwen on pole position for the race. That was brilliant. So Fatboy Sim went early, said you won't be able to beat my time, and was jumped by 3/100ths by Skarma in the VCARB, who's had a brilliant start to the season, and then Arwen, his own brother, at the death by 4/100ths. So to recap there, before the timer kicks us out, Arwen, P1, Skarma joins him in the front row, Fatboy Sim and Lucullus on the second row, Tesco in a career best P5 with Michelando in P6, Rob P7 with Craig P8, Pace P9, Kev with a career best P10, K-Pax in the reserve for Haas starts with Chiv in 11th and 12th, Dale and Georgie in 13th and 14th, Gio and Devarro in P15, 16, Bosch down in P17 with Chubby Slug who joined us late in P18, Baz in P19, and then Mr. Seedy who got disqualified for parking in an unsafe location starts at the very back alongside the Williams driver. It's a full grid. It's her 50% race distance around Zandvoort. We've got a first-time pole sitter for this season. We've got a couple drivers in their best positions. We've got Fatboy Sim, who's looking for a win after his win in Hungary. We've got Rob, our race winner in Portugal, all the way down out of position, down in P7, I think it was. And we have got a race on our hands for certain. Oh dear, that was a very exciting end. There were so many drivers on flying laps. I struggled to keep up with it all. I'm going to have a few more sips of my Birra Moretti as we just wait for the drivers to continue through, save whatever replays they need to do. No blocking this time. Obviously, we had a moment with some blocking in Hungary, which went to the stewards. Ended up with a 5-second time penalty for the blocking driver. Everything looked clean and tidy here. Said full grid. First full grid of the season, and we love to see all 20 drivers compete. Of course, one of our full-time drivers wasn't available today, hence why we have the reserve drivers in. But yes, points only down to 15th. So any driver who finishes in P16 or below will not score points. First place gets 30 points. Yeah, not 25. And, well...
Like, meat,
thank you for the follow, much appreciated.
Meat.
Welcome into the
meat
commentary.
is good.
I did not know that I had my alerts on, so need to figure out how to turn that off for the next race, but welcome in. We're just waiting for our race to start here. We've had a couple drivers leave. I know we've been having some issues with the servers a bit here. As you can see, a bit of tentativeness there. I can't even get onto the... No, that's... Didn't mean to send that to Baz. A bit of hesitancy coming off the formation lap there. But yeah, we see Arwen lead us off from the VCARB driver. We've got Chiv back in there. I'll try and send out invites wherever I can to people who do have me as friends on the game. And we've had 2 disqualifications. So in the time it's taken me to get Chiv back into the session, because the servers are playing funny buggers, we've had 2 disqualifications. Boss and Chubby Slug. I think they must have come into contact with each other. I'm pretty sure I can find that out, actually. Nope, it's not on the Ace incidents. Well, they will not have warm tyres. They will have ice-cold tyres on the second to last row there. So we'll see what happens there. You can see there the pop-up from the race strategies. There's it's either a soft medium or a medium hard. 1 stop expected. 2 stop isn't really viable around here. Track position is really important around here because of how limited the overtaking opportunities are. So I expect a majority of drivers to go for the medium hard. In fact, I can tell you, look at that, quite a lot of drivers on the soft, so the soft medium might work. We did see the soft do well in the sprint. To be fair, it matched the mediums pretty well. So Skarmer on the softs, directly behind Arwen. I think he's going to try and send it right up the inside. Fatboy Sim and Luke on the mediums, Tesco on the softs, both Astons on the mediums, Craig and Pace on the softs, and the mediums down to 14th with Georgie, as we see a couple more disqualifications there. With both Williams drivers, Baz and Devaro, having a moment. And I think it's all just a little bit interesting here. Now, because of the broadcast view, I'm going to stick in broadcast view, actually. It doesn't give me a great view of the start, but it will cut as we get to the first corner. I expect Skarmer to absolutely send it up the inside of Arwen here. You can see Skarmer at the very top there, pointing his car towards the Red Bull driver. The green flags are raised. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very glitchy lights. And we are go for the race in the Netherlands. Arwen looks to get a very good start there. He's immediately got defensive. Skarmer doesn't get the best of starts on the soft, and Arwen will keep the lead going in. Luke looks to go up the inside of Fatboy Sin there as the Mercedes driver Zatesco keeps his position. Luke just tucks in behind. My own spectator menu is actually breaking here slightly, so excuse me, as I do not appear to select any other driver. There we go. That's a Chubby Slug, I think, has had a moment in the back there. Who have I gone ball with here? It's Rob, as we see K-Pax and Craigbrook going side by side. Craigbrook takes the move up on the inside of the soft tire of the K-Pax. Pace thought about sending it on the K-Pax as well, but didn't do it. Bosch, I think, just got passed by George there. Mr. Seedy is back there as we see the Red Bull of Dale go up the inside of Chivo. There's a spin! There's a spin! It's Georgie in the Alpine. He's had a moment. He's either spun it on his own or he's been taken out. You might have been able to see it on the mini-map as Gio stuck up the inside of the McLaren driver there. Very opportunistic. And Chiv is out. Chiv is DNF'd. He's left, he's retired. So Chiv has had a connection problem. Very unfortunate. As we look here, Tesco, I think he's made his move past the McLaren driver. I didn't get to see it on board. He is absolutely flying on the soft tyres. Is he going to try and make a move on the Ferrari? The Ferrari's using a little bit of battery. And Skarmer looks to be very close to the Red Bull driver. Doesn't make the move. As you can see, there's hesitancy as Pace makes a move on K-Pax in the background there. Gio, I think, might make a move on Dale in a minute. And that's, who's that? That's Craig. No, who's gone down? It's Craigbrook. Craig has gone down as well. An incident for him. He's gone all the way to the back of the field. Heartbreak for the driver. He's had a moment. Has he picked up any damage? I can't see. He's got an end plate on the left. He's missing an end plate on the right. Craigbrook has had some sort of contact. And a driver who was potentially a favourite for the win here has had a moment. Mr. Seedy off into the gravel. He's had a wide moment as well. And all the drivers are just bumbling. It's all awkward, isn't it? It's all clumsy. Georgie makes the move on Chubby Slug as Craig Brook goes off into the gravel. It's a virtual safety car. It's a virtual safety car as Craig Brook is out. I don't know if he's had a moment. He's retired from the session as well. I don't know if he had a moment where he had his wing took him off. We will see. But it's a VSC. So 2 retirements in 2 laps. And breathe as it all slows down. It's not a full safety car, so at any moment we could see them go. This is an easy time. If you're clever enough, you can actually gain a bit of time under the VSC. If you can manipulate the delta, you can actually gain a bit of time on your fellow drivers if you're a bit crafty. But if you get it wrong, it's a drive-through penalty. So I'm going to keep this penalty screen open here to see if anybody picks up a drive-through. But Arwen defends from P1, Skarma in P2, Fatboy Sim in P3 as well. I'm going to keep the interval. There, Tesco overtook Lucullus for P4, Michelando and Rob up to P6 and P7, Pace and P8, K-Pax up to P9, Kev in P10. Bosch has gone up well from P16, I think it was, to P11, so well done to the kick driver there. Dale in P12, Gio in P13, Devaro and Baz up to P14 and 15. And we're back Green Flag Racing as I was having a look there, and Arwen, I think, managed to get a decent enough restart. But I tell you what, Tesco is right on the gearbox of the Ferrari driver. He's navigated that quite well. DRS is on straight away, of course, after a virtual safety car, so Fatboy Sim might be able to defend his position. I am just going to stick on board with him here. I'm looking up and down. Pace might be close enough to make a move on Rob. Dale might make a move on Bosch, who very well might send it on Kev, but I want to see if Tesco does anything here. I think he won't be able to make the move on the Ferrari driver because it's very much a train. If anything, I think the Red Bull driver is more at risk. Skarma keeps to the left-hand side. Arwen goes defensive. Skarma goes around the outside of the Red Bull driver, and the soft tyres give him that much more grip. Is he going to keep it? It's a race up to T3 here. Arwen's going to have the inside line and keeps the position on the Skarma. Very well defended from the Red Bull driver, but he knows he will have to keep defending that much longer. Michelando is passed by Pace in the background there, so Pace is flying at the moment. As we have a look, who else is going up and down? Bosch is right on the gearbox of Kev there. Nowhere he can really make a move. Tesco is really nibbling at the gearbox of the Ferrari driver. Skarma goes a little bit wide in the V-carb. As we see, is anyone going to make a move in an unorthodox place? Georgie's made a move on Baz as well. There's Michelando. Pace is down. Pace has had a moment, I think. Let's have a look. Pace has gone all the way to the back of the grid. He's actually side by side with the Williams driver. It doesn't let him go. Did Pace pick up any damage? It doesn't look like it, but you can see the gravel dust on the car there. Dill picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. So something's happened with Pace as well, just as we were on board with him. I'm going to have a look here. Tesco, we can see Luke is still right at the back of him. Rob actually is going to get DRS from Luke, so it's a long train here. Luke is getting a little closer to the back of that Mercedes driver. Skarma is going alongside the Red Bull driver, but I think he might be able to defend it enough. We'll see. Kev makes a move on Bosch up in the background as Arwen defends his position from Skarma once again. We can see there's drivers all over the place here. Kev is still in P9. Gio's moved up to P10. Bosch takes a little bit of the curb and slips a little bit. Georgie is just going to sit back here. He's going to try and dunk on the inside, but he's got the kick for company. Nearly takes out the kick driver. As Dale is nearly alongside the Alpine driver there. As Kev is running this train, Gio is right on the back of that Mercedes driver. Is he going to make a move at an unorthodox position? We've seen him do it before. He takes so much more confidence in that turn than the Mercedes driver there. He might have a switch back on the DRS zone. We'll have to see. Kev doesn't defend. The curb can slip you here. Gio's almost pushing the Mercedes driver. He says, get out of the way, he says. DRS is open. Kev uses a bit of battery. Gio doesn't go for the move here. But I tell you what, Bosch just got the inside of the Hurst driver and goes off the track in doing so. And he's given the position back to Gio, which I think was the correct thing to do. As we can see, Georgie look up the inside. Dale is almost pushing his way through there as well. The yellow flags are flying because of the carbon fiber going everywhere. They're side by side to the final corner. But Georgie keeps the position. Georgie's going to dump some battery. He's going to send him the inside of the kick driver here. He does it in all of this melee. Skarma has actually gotten past Arwen there, probably on the pit straight, I believe. So there's been a change for the lead as Skarma on the soft tyre makes his way past Arwen. We were watching the other drivers on board, so we didn't get to see it. Tesco is still behind Fatboy Sim, Luke behind him, and it's as you were from there. So Arwen, will he make the move on Skarma, or will he let himself run out those soft tyres? And Bosch has gone down. Another driver has gone all the way down. It's another VSC. And no, these drivers are kicking 7 shades of something else alongside them. Chubby Slug has picked up a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Bosch, who is missing an end plate. Another driver with wing damage here. Both kicks have picked up end plate damage. Craig DNF'd because of it. Bosch, I presume, will maybe take the opportunity to go into the pits. Don't know what happened there. I'm sure the stewards will investigate. But when you've got 20 drivers driving on such a narrow track, Chubby Slug looks like he's picked up... Mika Lando's picked up a penalty. Mika Lando has picked up a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with K-Pax. What is going on here in the dunes of Zandvoort? The drivers have... What is going on here? The Alpine has actually overtaken... What has happened there? The Alpine's overtaken the Ferrari under virtual safety car. How bizarre. What is going on here? Everybody has lost their minds. There's loads of drivers in the pits here. So Pace, Dale, Bosch, Georgie, Michelino and Chubby Slug all in the pits, all for their wing changes, some serving their time penalties under VSC. Baz and Tavaro move up. Mr. Seeley up to P12 as well. The virtual safety car might be ending soon. In fact, it has. It's gone. The virtual safety car has gone. We've restarted. No driver, I think, has picked up a time penalty. No driver's picked up a time penalty, but Pace has picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cuts. As we go down the grid, Gio looks to be very close with the Mercedes driver there. Very difficult to overtake here. Looks for the switchback. But Gio gets a... Kev gets a pretty good traction out of there. P8 for Kev, so very good from him there. A lot of drivers getting positions with everything that's going on. Georgie in the background looks like he's made a move on Pace. Pace might have gone wide by the looks of it, but I want to go on board with Arwen, who could have a move on Skarma here. And Arwen is going to make a move on Skarma here. He goes down the inside on the medium tyres. And Arwen... Is he going to reclaim the lead? Skarma cuts back at him with the extra grip of the softs very well. The VCAR driver there, he's going to have the better line. Is he? Arwen goes around the outside, pinches the space, says thank you very much. As Tesco looks to go alongside the Ferrari there, very close to contact, but doesn't collide. Rob has closed up quite a bit on Lucalis there, but you can see the gap between him and K-Pax, who's driving on his own there, kind of in no man's land. He's 4 seconds behind Rob, and then 4 seconds ahead of his teammate, Gio, who did get past Kev in the end there. I think it was on the straight. Bosch doesn't make the move on Pace, not close enough. But he will be hounding the VCARB driver there, who was one of 2 drivers who suffered some sort of incident. Those in the race will know what happened. I can only react to what I see on my screen, and I tell you, every time I switch away from a driver, such as right now, Tesco has fallen down to P6. In all of this moment, the moment I try and focus on something else, another driver has it off. Tesco has dropped from P4 to P6. I don't know if he sent it up the inside of Fatboy Sim, if he got lost on the curb. We'll have to see, but the soft tyres are probably falling away. Speaking of soft tyres, Fatboy Sim maybe had a look at Skarma, but Skarma stuck into the DRS of Arwen. I expect the softs to start pitting probably in the next 3 or 4 laps. Kev repasses Gio down the straight there for P8. These two have a good battle, but Gio keeps it very close to the inside. Fair play, but not enough. Bosch is that further back from Pace here. He might be close enough to make a move. We'll have a look. Pace has gotten good traction out of the final corner. I don't think Bosch... I think they all managed to get their damage repaired. Bosch is gaining on pace, but not close enough to make a move. So we'll keep an eye on that. But speaking of keeping an eye, I expect Fatboy Sim to probably start making a move on Skarma in the next few laps. The 2 virtual safety cars have been beneficial for the soft tyre runners because it extends their stint, but the mediums will overtake them in pace eventually. But we also know how powerful the DRS is here. So you can overextend on the soft tyres knowing that you're getting pulled along. As long as you don't lose that time in the middle sector. You can see Skarma's fallen back 7/10 to Arwen there. Skarma looks like he's recharging his battery. He does have DRS for help, but Fatboy Sim gets a dose of both. He goes down the inside of the VCARB driver here. Is he going to make the move stick as we see Skarma try and stick it up around the inside? A little bit of contact, but Fatboy Sim has the better drive on the medium tyres. And he moves up into P2. The Williams drivers swapping positions there. That's DeVaro making the pass on Baz, as Baz looks to go for the cutback as well. A lot of drivers fancying that move at the moment, but nothing happens. Gio is still stuck behind Kev there. Kev managed to defend. Both Williams drivers. First rule of driving, you never hit your teammate. Bosch just sitting in the DRS of pace, still not close enough to make a move. The gaps are just starting to extend ever so slightly in this front row here. Tesco is hounding the back of the Aston Martin there, and just pulling himself a bit further away from P7. Puts himself in a favourable position to maybe go for an undercut. As you say, track position is king here. Drivers recharging as all they can. Scarma looks like he's struggling quite a lot there. Lucas nearly ran into the back of the VCARB driver, and we are going to see a stream of cars here. As the VCARB driver goes wide, Lucas is looking like he's going to make a move as those soft tyres start to run away. You can see it up ahead of me there. They switch sides. Scarma pits. Scarma pits straight away. But Rob looks to go to the left-hand side of Lucas there. Is Rob going to make a move around the outside? There's not a lot of grip out there, and Lucas is just able to keep it. But Rob uses a bit of battery to keep alongside, but Luke will defend into this corner, and now it's single file once again. Skarma in the pits. Skarma in the pits. So Gio has passed Kev once again as we see Tesco here. There's nowhere to go here. Where is he going to go? He goes to the right. He goes to the left. There's no room here. There's barely enough width for one car around here. That moment from Skarma has cost Luke a little bit. Fatboy Sim and Arwen can just pull away on those medium tyres. They could pull each other with the DRS. As the clouds look like they're going a little bit darker. I don't think there's any rain. We saw Rob nearly make a move on Lucas. Are we going to see it happen again? You know how short of a lap it is here. I'm just looking up and down the grid. The only real drivers close now. Gio's managed to break the DRS from Kev. DeVaro might make a move back on his teammate in just a few moments' time as pace is pulled away from Bosch as well. And everybody's gaps are starting to extend a little bit here. But Rob is already on the battery. He's already on the loud pedal. He moves to the right-hand side and he's going to pass Lucas well before the turn. Rob moves up to the podium positions in P3. A little bit hesitant on the power there as we've stayed on board with Tesco throughout this. This is the main battle as it goes on. These three, and tell you what, Tesco is doing well to stick on top of this. He's extending his gap to K-Pax here by a few tenths every lap as he sticks on those soft tyres. Fatboy Sim is still sitting in the tow of his brother up in P1. Arwen could be on for his first race win of the season. Javaro is still very close to the back of the Williams driver, not close enough to make a move. Georgie on the medium tyres is just starting to rein in Dale there. We could see a pass in a few moments' time, but this is the main battle. Fatboy Sim is right up on the gearbox over Arwen. I don't expect them to go for a move if it's not on the pit straight, so I'll have a look at the delta there. I'm going to go back on board with Luke here to see if he decides to make a move up on the Aston Martin driver. And it's all calmed down a bit. It was a bit hectic at the start. We've had 2 DNFs. We've had a lot of broken wings, 2 virtual safety cars. And it's all just calming down a little bit here. Let's have a look and see what the Ferrari driver can do. He's right on the gearbox of Arwen. He's a lot closer than he was. He's got his DRS open. He doesn't have a lot of battery. He sticks behind him. Not ready to make the move. Lucas also not ready to make the move as Tesco goes into the pits. The Mercedes driver, excuse me, is in. He's had enough of those softs. He puts on the hard tyres, taking the hards to the end. Very interesting. I thought it would be a soft medium run for those on the aggressive strategy. It means that Mr. CD is the only driver left out there on the soft tyres. Everybody else from 1st to 9th on those medium tyres they started with. Everyone else behind pitted onto the hards after their incident. Georgie did make the move on Dale up in the background there. Yes, he has indeed. So the Alpine drivers up to P13. Tesco came out ahead of them, importantly ahead of Mr. CD as well. So he needs to rein those hard tyres in as much as he can. I'll tell you what, he's actually quite close to the back of Skarma there. Skarma pitted early. The undercut didn't seem to be that powerful, must be said. Looking up and down the field, Fatboy Sim's probably just going to stick behind Arwen for the time being. Knows he's not under pressure from Rob, and Rob is just building the gap on Lucas. Kev is starting to rein back in. Oh, there's a snap from Tesco there. Oh, he was just in the DRS of Skarma and then had a snap coming through the corner on those cold tyres. Couldn't make it work. Dale there, sitting in the DRS of Georgie, could potentially make a move. As I'm having a look, Lucas is still behind Rob. Wasn't close enough to make a move. Start with Fatboy Sim. It's very much as you were. I tell you what, it's just looking, that track just doesn't look that grippy, you know. It just doesn't look that grippy. Kev picks up a 3-second time penalty for too many track warnings. That's what's going to go against his final race time. Dale not close enough to make a move on the Alpine driver. So let's recap. It is Arwin up in the lead in the Red Bull. Arwin leading here from pole. Defended well on the start. Got passed by Skarma, but then passed him back. Fatboy Sim up into P2 as well, just recharging, sitting behind his brother, just pulling that gap to Rob, which is extended to 2 seconds now. Lucalis is right on his gearbox in P4, could potentially make a move. And there's a big gap of 7 seconds to K-Pax sitting in a lonely P5, who is 4 seconds ahead of his Haas teammate in P6. Kev in P7 as well as Arwin pits up at the top. Arwin and Rob have pitted. They've both pitted, so they've pulled the trigger first. Are they going to be able to pit and then come out ahead of Fatboy Sim? Or is Fatboy Sim going to be able to thrive in the clean air? We see Kev sitting in the gearbox of Gio there. Doesn't make the move. Going further back there, Devaro and Baz there have both managed to get past. I'm actually curious to hear. Skarma has undercut Rob. He has. So Skarma has undercut Rob, but Tesco hasn't. So Skarma has played his strategy well to maintain ahead of that Aston Martin driver. Arwin has split the Williams drivers. Going down, Tesco, who's also pitted, he's in P11. Georgie in P12 a few seconds back. Dale in P13. Pace in P14, who's recovering from an incident. Bosch, who's also recovering in P15. Michelando has pitted as Mr. Seedy pits from P15 to get rid of those soft tyres, put on the medium tyres. And Chubby Slug ran stuff in P18 with 2 DNFs with Craig and Chiv. So, Fatboy Sim is just coming around the final corner now. I'm going to go on board with Arwin. And I'm going to see, is Fatboy Sim, I think he's going to pit. He does. So Fatboy Sim pits. I expect Lucalis will as well. No, Lucalis stays out. So Lucalis extends on the medium tyres. Could be going for the medium soft strategy. But I want to see if Arwin is able to come out ahead of Fatboy Sim. We're just going to stay on board here. He's going to get a lovely dose of DRS. He had a half spin there. Must be said, he's got a lovely dose of DRS from the Williams driver. I think he's going to try and make the move. As Fatboy Sim is coming out of the pits right now, you'll be able to see the Ferrari on the right-hand side of your screen. Arwin has to make an overtake around the outside of the Williams, who is fighting for position, but Arwin comes out ahead of the Ferrari just ahead. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for the DRS, I don't know if he would have done it. So he maintains his position in the net lead of the race. He's P5, but he's yet to pit. Rob will come out behind there. Skarma, then led by Tesco, who's fallen back a little bit. Baz has pitted onto the hard tyres. So Lucalis is the lead driver of the remaining ones who haven't pit yet. He leads K-Pax by 7 seconds. He's got a lovely dose of clean air and will pit whenever he feels is necessary. If he can extend and come out ahead of Arwin, it'll be mightily impressive. Kev sitting on the back of Gio here. These two have been going hammer and tong all race, it has to be said. Very good driving for both of them. Skarma is right on the gearbox of Rob, and Fatboy Sim is also probably going to make a move on that Williams driver as well. Haas pits, so Gio is in the pits. Is Skarma going to make a move on Rob here, as we see K-Pax also pits as Luke stays out. So he might be going for the soft tyre. Be very brave. Skarma stays behind. K-Pax also pit, so both Haas drivers pit. Gio there maybe got held up by his teammate pitting. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he's going to come out well ahead of Pace here. Yes, he is. So Pace moves up to P13, but the Haas driver on 10-lap fresher hards will be ahead of him. So Luke and Kev are P1 and 2, still yet to pit. Fatboy Sim gets into the DRS of his brother as he does pass the Williams driver. We didn't get to see that as he's still also on the medium tyre. Georgie's moved all the way up to P9 there, but we have to ask how long those medium tyres will last. I think Skarma might make a move on the Aston Martin driver who doesn't have DRS, but he might just get it because of how old those tyres are. If I move here, the gap to the leader is 13 seconds from Arwin. So Lucalis is not a pit stop clear. He's far from it. I think he'll come out 8 or so seconds behind. He could be going all the way down behind Tesco at this point. Yes, I think if Lucalis extends on these mediums, I think he's going to come out behind Tesco, so he's got a lot of work to do. As we see Skarma use a lot of battery here, he doesn't go for the move. He thought about it. DeVaro pits. So DeVaro's taking off the tyres, so it's just the two drivers leading there. As we see Arwen looks to go around the outside of the Mercedes driver who's really struggling. Arwen is going to have to try and make a move on a track where it's really difficult to make a move here. You can see him prancing in either mirror of the Mercedes driver, but there's nothing Arwen can do. And this is pulling Fatboy Sim even closer to him here. Look at this. Arwen's pushing this Mercedes driver along. He's saying, get out of the way, get out of the way. Fatboy Sim set up. He could very well make a pass for the lead here if he times this well. Arwen is just going to sit patiently behind him. He might make a move into the chicane here. He kind of has to, or he's going to be under serious risk from his from the Ferrari. No, Arwen doesn't even use the DRS. Unless he's waiting and using the DRS down the pit straight. Oh, Fatboy Sim goes a little bit wide there, doesn't he? This Mercedes driver is defending like an absolute champ on those aging tyres. It shows the tyre, the tyre delta. Oh, big stop! Arwen's out! Arwen's out! A massive grace. He's DNF'd from the lead. Arwen is out. It's a safety car from the lead of the race. Arwen got too close underneath the wing of the Mercedes driver and has dumped it. It's a safety car, which is absolutely golden for Lucalis because Fatboy Sim has picked up a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Arwen, a car that was spearing out in front of him. Now, we could very well try and get that, revoked. We'll have to see. Loads of drivers have pit. So K-Pax, Georgie, Dale, Pace, and Bosch have all pit. Lucalis is in a very, very, very good position. Tesco has been disqualified. Tesco is out. He's disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. I don't know if he had a spin, if he stopped to let someone go. I don't know what's happened. So Tesco's been disqualified. It's all chaos here. Remarkable. So K-Pax says pit. He was right next to the pits. So K-Pax, Dale, and Pace are there. Lucalis, you have to say, is very, very far ahead. He probably will be absolutely fine to pit and come out ahead of Kev here. So this is an absolute gift for the McLaren driver, who very well may get his first race win of the season. Arguably should, because I think he's going to come out ahead of Kev here. I'm going to go on board with Fatboy Sim, who is just stuck. He's got nothing to do but wait. Oh, look how agonizing it is. As Lucalis puts on the softs, he's already leaving the pit box. Kev goes in. Fatboy Sim pits. So Fatboy Sim is coming. Rob has stayed out as Kev picks up a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. You think that every driver on the field has made a mistake here. Fatboy Sim has to serve his 10-second penalty. That's going to be agonizing for the Ferrari driver. So Rob, you ran over the Red Bull debris, got a puncture and couldn't move. Oh, it's all happening. This is pure drama. Oh my god, the glitch with the lobby, drivers getting disqualified, drivers DNFing, absolutely ridiculous. So we see Fatboy Sim, who, is so unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, actually comes out behind K-Pax, but comes out ahead of Dale as well. So Lucalis there on the soft tyre leads. So let's recap. So all the drivers are out of the pits now, I think, at this point. Yes, so let's recap. Set a clip, please do, Tesco. I'd love to see. So Luke pitted under safety car. He had an absolute eon of space, gifted this absolutely beautiful opportunity. He's on softs to the end. 16 laps on those soft tyres. Potentially a tall order, but we'll see. Rob sits behind him in P2. He's on those hard tyres. He's going to take those to the end. Skarma is on 4-lap older hard tyres down there in P3. Kev is on the soft tyres in P4. Brilliant position for him, but he's carrying a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. Gio stays out on the hards in P5. DeVaro on the hards in P6. Baz, the teammate behind him in P7, both on the hards, both with a really good chance of points. Georgie pitted under the safety car. Put on the hard tyres, he'll see those to the end in P8. K-Pax is there in P9. Fatboy Sim in P10 behind him after serving a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision. Dale is in P11 with fresh medium tyres. Pace in P12 with fresh medium tyres as he's just going up to the back of the pack. Mr. Seedy is in P13 as well. Bosch is behind him there on fresh hards as well, so he's going to see the hards out to the end in P14. Mika Landa put on some fresh hards in P15. He's also got to clean up to the back of the pack. And Chubby Slug in P16. So 4 drivers are out. Arwin DNF'd after getting stuck behind the wing of the Mercedes driver, trying to overtake him, put it into the wall and DNF'd, giving his rival and his brother a 10-second time penalty for good measure. Craig Brook had an incident at the pack, got spun and put himself into the gravel trap and DNF'd. Chiv DNF'd, I think after technical issues at the beginning, and then Tesco, as we've seen in the chat, picked up 2 punctures and then got an automatic disqualification, incredibly harsh. So he will finish P17 in the order because it was an unfair disqualification, but regardless, he will not score any points. Well, he wouldn't have scored any points if it was a DNF anyway, but, you know, the positioning doesn't matter. So, safety car's in this lap. Safety car in this lap. We're going to see Lucalis lead us off here. I'm going to go on to broadcast view. Big gap there as the Williams drivers looks to close up. It's up to Lucalis to set the pace now. You send to the generator, we'll have a look afterwards. Lucalis is going to crawl on those soft tyres. He wants, you know, those hards to be as cold as possible. He's going to go very late. It's a long straight here. He knows he's got the beneficial grip for the soft tyres, and he's just going to try and catch Rob out and pull away into the sunset here. So we watch, we keep an eye on him. The safety car is in, so Luke can go whenever he wants. He's just waiting for the moment. He can wait all the way to the line, and Rob is right under the gearbox. We'll have to see, is he going to do something here? Luke is probably going to go as late as he possibly can. Wait for the line. He's gone. So Luke's gone on the soft tyres. He's pulled away. He tried to get the best start he could. I tell you what, Kev got a very good start. Is he going to go on the inside of Scarborough? He doesn't. Gio with a bit of a half lockup there. But Kev decides to stay behind here. We'll see how he gets on. Chubby Slug makes the pass on Mika Lando right at the back of the pack there. So remember, one driver, Chubby Slug down the inside. That's an outrageous move there. Chubby Slug looks to have obliterated the Alpine of Mr. Seedy there. Fatboy Sim is also, looks like he's had a moment. He's dropped all the way back to P13. I don't know if there's glitching drivers or what. There's all going on here. There was a cavalcade of errors. There's another safety car. It's not a safety car. No, that's a bug. Excuse me. There's a yellow flag, though, in Sector 2. Who's that? Georgie's gone up to P4. The Alpine driver is absolutely flying at the moment. He's made the pass on Davaro, Skarma as well. So we'll see how the Alpine driver goes. So Luke leads by 1.6 seconds. There was an absolute, there was so much going on at the restart there. Gio makes the pass on Bosch. Chubby Slug makes the pass on Fatboy Sim. They're going side by side. I want to talk to the grid, but I need to see here as Chubby Slug sits behind them. Baz also looks like he got knocked back a couple of places. Fatboy Sim looks like he's potentially going to make a move. And Mr. City makes a move on Mika Lando as well. Fatboy Sim goes alongside Bosch there in the kick. Is he going to make the move stick? I think he is. It's hard braking. It's well done. It's a bit clumsy. Oh, they're all line astern. They're all bumper cars. As Fatboy Sim is right under the nose of Gio in P10. Their pace has moved up to P9. Dale looks like he's right on the back of K-Pax. Who's on the back of Skarma. Davaro on the hard tyres really strikes. Skarma looks like I think he's fallen back a few positions. I'm not entirely sure what's happened. So Lucalis is 2.2 seconds. Oh, K-Pax, look at the inside of Skarma. There's a brave place to make a move there, but he makes it happen. It's K-Pax on the fresh and medium tyres, moves up to P6, and I think Skarma's just struggling on those tyres a bit. Dale, there's a bit of bumper cars as he goes alongside. He goes around the outside of the V-carb. Dale, is he going to make the move stick into the chicane? They're still side by side. Dale hard on the brakes. Skarma looks to go around the outside of him. No room there. Dale pinches him. Says, thank you very much. I'll take that position. Pace goes around the outside of Skarma as well. Skarma's been absolutely shuffled back there. Unfortunate for the V-carb there. He's really struggled. Kev is right on the back. He's passed Rob there. Kev is up to P2. I know he's carrying 10 seconds of time penalties, but the Mercedes driver has driven brilliantly so far. Davaro has been passed by K-Pax there. So K-Pax is up into P5. Yellow flag in Sector 3 as Mika Lando retires in the pits. Mika Lando retires in the pits. And it's only 15 were left. So every driver will score points here as Dale is right alongside the Williams driver. Just backs off of it a little bit. The Williams driver is still struggling to recover his battery, I think, there. Rob is still sticking behind Kev there, up in P3. But we've seen the difference in tyres. I've seen people go absolutely all over the place. Gio picks up a 3-second time penalty. Going back here, Fatboy Sim is probably going to look to make a move on Skarma, who, bless him, is really struggling on those aging hard tyres. 13 laps old now. K-Pax makes the move on the Alpine driver, going down into the mini DRS. So K-Pax is absolutely flying here, and the Haas, fair play in what is looking to be his last race with us for a little while. 71 completed races in a row. Can he make it a podium? If he stays within 10 seconds of Kev, that would be mightily impressive. Georgie picks up a lot of curb there. Is he going to try and make a move back on the Haas driver there? Uses a lot of his battery. We look back, Pace might make a move on Dale here, but Georgie's going to go back past the Haas driver for P4, says thank you very much. I want that position. Dale's still sitting behind Tavaro, really struggling to pass him here. Pace is just sitting behind him, Skarma behind him, Fatboy Sim behind him, and then we've got a line of cars. Chubby Slug back to Gio, who's just pulling ahead of Bosch there, who I think has pulled, so Bosch has pulled his DRS away. Gio's actually falling away from Chubby Slug slightly here, which would be bad news for him and Bosch, especially with Gio picking up a time penalty as well, 3 seconds. Dale is just sitting behind the Williams. Oh, Devaro goes off. The Williams got caught on the curb. It's so easy to get stuck on that curb and wash all the way wide. I've done it so many times myself, and Devaro falls all the way back to P13. Unfortunate for the Williams driver is Bosch picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure as well. I think K-Pax is going to make another move here, but look ahead there. Luke is 4 seconds ahead of Kev there. Absolutely brilliant. Dale looks like he's going side by side with K-Pax here. Dale in a very, very audacious place to make the move. Decides not to go for it, but Pace is alongside Dale and passes him on the banking there. Very impressive from the VCARB driver there. He's going to tuck into the DRS, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move. Gio there, that is Fatboy Sim finally getting past Skarma there. Bosch goes around the outside of Gio as Fatboy Sim picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure as well. Rob is just sitting behind the Mercedes driver, getting towed along very nicely. All this fighting up here as well is helping out Kev as well. Who obviously needs to build a very big gap there, but Luke is an absolute no man's land up there, 5 seconds almost in the lead. Fair play to him. K-Pax there is just under the nose of the Alpine, and we've got this big train of cars that goes all the way down from P4 down to P10. Baz has left the session. He's had a disconnect issue. Unfortunate for him. I'm just having a look here. Dale gets on the curbs, gets a bit slippery. Fatboy Sim says, thank you very much, I'll take that, and moves up to P7. And Fatboy Sim, who is a man on a mission here, has recovered very well from having to serve a 10-second time penalty. I want to watch Pace here with all of the things off. We see Giorgi there in the Alpine. We see the Haas driver directly behind him. We see the Haas driver go alongside the Alpine driver. And I think we're going to see the Haas driver make the move as they all line down the straight there. Giorgi goes around the outside of him. Is he going to make that stick? No. Haas pulls out ahead. So the Haas is through. Pace is still there. Fatboy Sim riding on the back of them as well. Chubby Slug is very close to the back of Dale. Nowhere to make a move there. And this train just continues on. Giorgi, we've seen, is not afraid to make a move in a very ridiculous place. Can he make a move on K-Pax here? We'll see. The hard tyres will start to come towards the medium tyres just a little bit. They're actually pulling themselves a bit closer to Kev now as well, who, as I've said, needs to pull a really big gap in order to score, and be hopeful to score some big points. He's got, about 10 laps to do it, there or thereabouts. Pace is right on the back of the Alpine driver there, who we could see make a move on the Haas as well. It's so difficult to defend from the lead here, especially on a track where DRS is as powerful as it is. And you can see the line of cars on the minimap in your bottom right as everybody's going to try to make a move on everybody. But we'll see if Giorgi has enough battery here to make a move. Haas goes defensive. Giorgi's using a lot of his battery. He's in the tow. He's in the DRS. He's going to move to the left-hand side. Is he going to have the grip to go around the outside? No, there's a lot of marbles out there, and Haas defends the position as Pace goes up the inside of the Alpine. No, he doesn't. He thought about it, but Fatboy Sim might try and switch back on the VCARB driver here. You just try and make a move wherever you can. And this train is all sort of sitting in the same position here. They're not really overtaking each other. It's very difficult, as you know. As we just see, the soft tires are going to start dying a little bit now, aren't they? Kev could be in trouble here. I'm really rooting for Kev to score some solid points here, but that time penalty is going to be very, very, very difficult for him to overcome. But we'll see how they get on as K-Pax looks to try and extend his run. Georgie still sitting behind him. Oh, they're all just bumping into each other almost. They're so close. They're like magnets. Looking at the back here, Skarma is very close to the back of Chubby Slug and past. So Skarma... Oh, my thing's broken again. That's annoying. So Skarma made the move on Chubby Slug in the second DRS. So Georgie is going to go back past the Haas driver here. And, oh, that was Pace going around the outside of the pair of them, was it? Georgie goes really close, bit of contact. I think Pace went around the outside of the pair of them, and Fatboy Sim makes his move back on Pace as he ended up getting washed a bit wide. Dale's fallen back from this move a little bit. Georgie goes wide there. K-Pax maybe had a move, but no, Georgie got just enough traction on those hard tires, and they all go single file once again. Rob is even closer to the back of that Mercedes driver, but they are gaining on Kev here. So Kev is going to be in trouble here. So as it stands, Rob is in P2, Georgie in P3, who will pick up a podium at his debut, which will be very mightily impressive. Fatboy Sim just sitting on the back as well. Pace does well. Who's that behind him? Dale is just falling back a little bit here. I'm curious to see if K-Pax Pace picks up another 10-second time penalty. That's 6 seconds here. That'll be unfortunate for him. As you see, the Haas driver, is he going to be close enough to make a move on the Alpine? These two have traded pretty much every lap. But I tell you what, Fatboy Sim is even closer to the pair of them. Rob makes a move on the Mercedes to the background. Fatboy Sim goes alongside. He's going to go down the inside of the pair of them. What a move from Fatboy Sim, but he went far too deep and lost the position back. Almost desperation creeping in from the Ferrari driver. Lucky not to take out both drivers. Absolutely held it at the inside. Couldn't get it stopped within the same postcode as the Apex. And Georgie and K-Pax says, thank you very much. I'll tuck back on the inside and keep my positions. Fatboy Sim driving with, he's got something to prove after he got very unfortunate penalty there. Just a few more laps remaining. Rob did make the pass on Kev. So Kev's soft tyres are just starting to fall away. Luke is showing no signs of having any fall off, though he is absolutely piercing off into the distance for what will be a very comfortable win and his first win of the season for the McLaren driver. Last season's championship runner-up. Fatboy Sim just sitting at the back now. Is he going to do something similar? Is he going to go for a Hail Mary? Every driver currently in will score points as long as they don't take each other out. It's been an absolutely hectic race so far. K-Pax has gone very close there to the back. Georgie goes extremely defensive. They're both running out of battery, but Georgie will keep enough. Chubby Slug makes the pass on Dale in the background. Dale is trying to stick it around the outside, but just doesn't have enough. And Chubby Slug will make the move. Skarma sitting behind them on those 20-lap-old tyres. Fair play to him there. Bosch is just close to Gio, not close enough. Kev actually made the move back on Rob there on the pit straight, so he is fighting for everything that he has got. And Georgie's actually gotten back onto this train here that's being led by Kev. So Rob and Kev have got to start looking in their mirrors now as this train has just gotten ever closer. K-Pax and Georgie have just pulled them further and further and further forward. Skarma looks to be very close to Dale there, nowhere really to make a move. Fatboy Sim, K-Pax there. Georgie is now going to get DRS to defend, and the hard tyres might start to come to him over the medium tyres a little bit. We'll see. Rob is actually in danger of losing his podium position here if he doesn't defend this well. He's probably going to get past Kev as quickly as he can in order to try and keep his position. Bosch is really close to the back of Gio. We'll see if a move happens there. I'm just going to stay aboard with K-Pax. Georgie has DRS. Rob and Kev, look at how close they were at the top there. Rob does make the pass at the end. K-Pax goes really deep and braking on the outside. Has he got the grip? The medium tyres holding him a bit. Georgie pushes him off. Oh, bit of argy-bargy there. And Fatboy Sim says, thank you very much. I'll take that. Fatboy Sim makes the pass on K-Pax. Pace is just sitting behind them. Chubby Slug is now going to start pulling his way back into this fight here, up to P8. So well done from Chubby Slug. We can see, let's have a look at the, can I see, yeah, look at that position changes absolutely all over the place. Georgie looks like he's had a brilliant race. Chubby Slug's had a brilliant race. Skarma is just dying on those hard tires. Bless him. Kev has done brilliantly as well. We'll have to see where he falls. Rob has done well. Luke has done well on his strategy. We're just having a look here. So K-Pax is behind. Georgie picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Georgie with a 3-second time penalty. I want to see the interval, and I want to see the... Yeah, so Kev has picked up a time penalty as well, so he's 13 seconds. Georgie and Fatboy Sim both have penalties as well. K-Pax doesn't, as we see Fatboy Sim maybe thinking about a move on the Alpine driver here. He's just sitting in the toe. Kev makes the move back on Rob up in the background there, but Rob is going to go for the switchback. Does he have enough traction to make a move? I don't think he does. Georgie now is just sitting on the back of them. He gets a really good traction coming out from behind the Aston Martin driver. He's on fresher, hard tyres. Really difficult to make a move around here. There's nowhere to go. Dirty Air is going to start struggling a little bit. I'm going to have to keep an eye on Lucas here as Georgie has a look up the inside, backs out of it. Fatboy Sim might have a look to go as well. Georgie slices across it. Oh, it's a bit of bargy there for Fatboy Sim. Georgie struggles to get on power there, just coming out of it. Gio and Bosch are trading positions there. Rob is hounding the back of Kev. Georgie just sits in the DRS a little bit. Is Georgie going to be able to make a move on the pair of them here going down the straight? We'll have to see. As we watch the battery graph here. So Kev leads from Rob valiantly in P2. Rob will have DRS. Georgie will have DRS. Fatboy Sim will have DRS. They'll all have DRS as they snake down the straight. Rob and Kev go side by side there. Rob looks to go around the outside of the Mercedes driver and does do so. The soft tyres really struggling for the Mercedes driver there. I think it's going to start slightly coming towards Luke now, but he's obviously so far ahead, he's not going to be at risk. But those soft tyres are really starting to die now. Georgie is hounding the back of that Mercedes driver, hounding the back of the Mercedes car. Is he going to be able to do anything as Mr. Senior makes a move on Baz up in the background there for P14? That's still trading positions. Georgie is looking for anywhere he can pass by this Mercedes car here. He looks to go down the inside. It's a bit of contact. It's a half spin. Fatboy Sim ends up collecting to the back of them. Pace looks like he's going to the inside of Fatboy Sim here. Oh, that curb is a danger curb. He touches it a little bit. K-Pax passes Pace there. That curb is a deathly curb and will almost always spit the car out. Rob heavy on the recharge to try and defend. Pace ends up passing Chubby Slug. Mr. City picks up a 3-second time penalty as Bosch passes Gio in the background as well. Chubby Slug could be going for a move on Pace here. Yes, he is. So Pace unfortunately got on that curb. Let's have a look. Anyone going to make a move here? Fatboy Sim not close enough. Skarma sitting in the back of them. Chubby Slug wasn't able to pull forward there. Gio repasses Bosch there. Down there's a yellow flag in sector 1. It's Georgie. Georgie has spun. He's spun. He's had a moment. He's lost an end plate. I think something happened there with Georgie. We'll have to say, I'm sure we'll see that in the background as he's just, look at, he's all the way out on the grass. Oh, he spun again. Oh, it's Georgie's just had a torrid time of it. He's DNF'd. He's out. He's crashed. He's out. Georgie is out. The first driver to not score points. Pace there, sitting on the back of K-Pax. He could be in for a P3 here. So Kev is just sitting on the back. Fatboy Sim's actually fallen back a bit there, so I think he had a moment with Georgie. We'll see. So Kev is carrying his penalties. Rob is still defending ahead with just a few laps left to go. So out of whoever finishes here in P4 on the road will finish on the podium with Luke and Rob. Will it be Pace? Will it be K-Pax? Will it be Chubby Slug? Pace obviously carrying 3 seconds of time penalties. Pace is a DRS on, doesn't have enough. Chubby Slug looks like he's going to go on the inside. Oh, he's bumped Pace. He's bumped Pace. He's going to have another look up the inside. There is another bit of contact. K-Pax will pull away. Says thank you very much. Dale makes the pass on Skarma there. Bosch and Gio are still going at it. Chubby Slug just almost pushing Pace, willing him forward as we enter the last lap. We've been on the last lap, excuse me. We've been watching these go absolutely hammer and tong. It has been an absolutely reckless, chaotic race. It has to be said. I don't even know where to begin. Dale's picking up penalties. We'll have to see. I don't have a clue what the finishing position is going to be. But I can tell you one thing for certain. I know who's going to be on the front step of that podium. He pitted under the safety car. He's had an absolute breeze in the second stint. It's his first race win of the season. Lucalis in the McLaren will cross the line. And Lucalis wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Very well played from the Welsh driver. He has decided to set down his marker. We go all the way back there. Kev will cross the line with Rob inheriting P2. K-Pax in P3 on the podium. Chubby Slug P4. Skarma P5. Dale P6. Pace P7. And Kev all the way down in P8. Unfortunate for him there. BGO just out-dragging Bosch to the line. Devarro jumps the pair of them as he wasn't carrying any penalties. Fatboy Sim will come home in P12 after a very chaotic race from him. Baz in P13 and Mr. CD rounds himself a P14. And my goodness, I can finally breathe. That was a ridiculous end. My goodness. Driver of the day is Chubby Slug. I have to agree with it entirely. I think he started down in P19, P18, I think it was. Got involved in an incident early, got the pit strategy right, and absolutely soared up to the high points there. K-Pax as an honourable mention as well. Very, very, very well played from K-Pax. He stayed out of trouble, put on the right tyre, and coasted home for another podium after his sprint podium in Portugal as well. Fair play to him as well. Absolute chaos. Drivers all over the place. Oh my goodness me. What a race. What a race. And this season just keeps on giving. Chaos in Portugal, chaos in Hungary, and even more chaos in the Netherlands. That's it. 14 drivers finish. 6 drivers crash out. And I'll see you all again next week. My goodness. I am without words. Pure chaos is the best way to describe it. Zandvoort always delivers, doesn't it? Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for being with me. I need to head off. I need a beer. And I will see you all for the next race. What is the next race before I sign you off and start creating them highlights? Where are we? Calendar. It is Circuit of the Americas, COTA. So come on down on February 2nd. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you all soon.